All right, good afternoon to everyone. We'll call the meeting of the Murfreesboro Cable Television Commission to order. Item number 1 on the agenda, annual election of officers, chair and vice chair for the Murfreesboro Cable Television Commission. Alan?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's that time of year again to have our annual voting of a chair and vice chair. According to section 2-169 of the Murfreesboro City Code, the Cable TV Commission shall elect its chair, which currently is Tommy Campbell, and vice chair, which is Dr. Heinrich, from among its memberships. Nominations for board chair will be given, followed by a roll call vote, and then nominations will be taken for a vice chair with a roll call vote. So after nominations have been made and seconded, I will then call roll with each of your names, and you'll state who the name is that you would like to nominate. So I guess we'll start out by calling for nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Tommy Campbell.
Second.
Okay, anyone else?
Of course he is.
All right, so I will call roll, and you'll state the name of the person you would like to be chair. Mr. Wright,
Tommy Campbell.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mr. Heinrich,
Tommy Campbell.
Mr. Cook, he's not here today, Miss Barton,
Tommy Campbell.
Mr. Schmidt,
Tommy Campbell.
and Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
All right, congratulations. Mr. Campbell will be the chair for an additional year. Now we'll take nominations for vice chair.
I would like to nominate Dr. Roger Heinrich.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else?
Somebody want to second that?
Second.
All right. I will call everyone's name again. Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Mr. Heinrich,
Yes.
Miss Barton,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chair Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations for another term, Dr. Heinrich. That takes care of the first item.
Thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda is to consider the minutes of the June 14, 2021 meeting. Assuming that everybody's had an opportunity to study that, I need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
A second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? There not being any, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, pursuant to Order 98-03, conduct a public hearing to evaluate MTSU's use of both educational access channels as they relate to the public good, signal quality, and other relevant factors. Notice of public hearing was published in the March 22, 2022 issue of the local newspaper. Alan?
Yes, we're here today to, like you said, to conduct a public hearing at the commission level. Back in, actually a number of years ago, MTSU approached the city requesting the use of their second PEG channel that's on the Comcast cable TV system. We agreed to do so, but we wanted to have an annual review of both of those channels, have a public hearing for anybody that would like to speak on those, and have this annual review. This was posted or published in the local newspaper on March 22nd about this public hearing, and the commission needs to conduct that public hearing, and then after it's over with, they'll need to decide on continuing granting the MTSU utilization of the two channels, continuing for an additional year.
So point of clarification, they will provide information, there'll be discussion, and then the vote will include both channels, correct?
Correct, that's correct.
Thank you.
And in your packet materials, both MTSU Channel 10 and 9 have both provided reports that you had the opportunity to review before this meeting.
Okay.
And we have representatives here from each of those here today to speak to you all.
I'd like to call on the representative for Channel 10. If you have information for us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about MT10. My name is Bob Gordon. I'm an associate professor in media arts at MTSU, and I am the advisor for the new organization that's called Blue Raider Student Television, and the faculty of record now for MT10. So I'm kind of playing in both roles. In my report, I described how we have split things and why. For years, MT10 was a student organization, and as a result, it has a certain amount of limitation in terms of faculty oversight. It's one of 314 organizations that the university has, and the formation of those organizations is to allow students a lot of independence and minimal faculty oversight. We're just advisors. Well, that works fine for the chess club. It's a little bit different for a television station. A lot of the students that have been involved in the past are more interested in producing television shows than managing a television station. So there were limitations in what we could and couldn't do, and I went and talked to the chair and the dean and the vice president of student affairs and the director of student organizations about how we can change this. And so we have an organization called Blue Raider Student Television, which is a student organization that I'm the advisor of, and they produce television shows. And those shows can air on MT10. MT10 is now a capstone class in the media management degree program. So students that are interested in managing, students that are interested in managing media operations, radio stations, television stations, websites, etc., are in that program. So we have a class of students that are interested in managing. This semester, I am now in charge of that. And so we've changed this so that the management of the station is under the supervision of a faculty member, and the students involved are graded. So there is an end result for their involvement. We've been a bit limited because of COVID as to what we could produce and what we could do. That has kind of changed now and has become quite productive. In my report, you can see that there are a lot of programs that students have made. We have also, the department has made a sizable investment in a new server for MT10 to the tune of about $10,500, which gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of what we can air. It can also air EBS announcements. It can do weather crawls. It allows us to identify older shows like past football games and basketball games. I've contacted ESPN, and they allow us to re-air the games that we produce for ESPN on a week's delay. So we have another entity, Media Arts Production, which produces MTSU football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, baseball, softball. And we haven't been able to do anything other than air it live, but both Conference USA and ESPN allows us to re-air those. So we have to take the commercial breaks out, and so we'll be starting to air those. The TSSAA, we do boys and girls championships, Tennessee boys and girls basketball championships, and now they're allowing us to re-air those shows on those games on MTSU. So that's, I think, is going to serve the public well. That'll be new. You can see the number of different kinds of shows that students are doing, everything from talk shows, sports shows, film shows, music shows, several game shows, several cooking shows, interestingly enough. We've also done a couple of programs that are compilations of films that students have made and animations that students have made. They're showcases. So in those 30 to 60-minute shows, it's a compilation of student work in those areas. So we're going to be airing those. We also are starting to re-air or simultaneously air some of the Out of the Blue programs that are also on Channel 9 that True Blue TV does, or at least Marketing and Communication produces, so we can re-air those as well. Friday, we go through training on the new server so that we can take away a lot of the old shows that have aired forever and replace them with new shows. We have students that are investigating programs that other colleges produce so that we can air those as well. And I've been in discussion with Cheddar U, which used to be MTVU, MTV University, which is a national streaming service that produces programs for over 400 colleges throughout the university. The challenge with that is those are commercial programs, so for us to air those, we would have to be working with our new server that allows us to preempt commercials and replace with institutional spots or public service announcements. So with the integration of that, which would require a student to monitor it so that we can preempt those commercials, it allows us to be using national programs that are based for college students on MT10, as well as the programs we get from other universities and the programs that both Blue Raider Student Television produces and several television production classes produce. Many times they've done programs that just were graded and turned back to them. Now those are going to become program material for MT10. So when we have these entities of program production entities from students, plus another set of students that will program and manage what goes on MT10 and monitor what that is, replace things regularly, I think the quality and the community service of MT10 will vastly improve. And we thank you for the opportunity to have MT10. I think it's been a relationship that's been over 30 years. And it's an entity that a lot of our successful alumni point to that has been very important to their success. The opportunity to be able to make programs and to a certain extent not have us as faculty members get in their business, but to some point we have to be in their business, particularly with the programming of a television station. So that is a summation of my report to you.
So I guess we should ask if anybody has any questions from the board?
One quick question about the capstone class. How many students are now in the capstone class that's producing network?
Well, this semester is one that's working with me. We're looking for others for next semester, but it doesn't really require many to do what this is. There was an experiment with it last semester where they had, before I was involved with it, where they had a number of students in it, in that class, but I don't think really anything developed from it. So it needs to have an end result. And I'm looking for a class of at least 3 to 4. It's kind of an independent study, and they would be responsible for managing the current programming, seeking other programming, scheduling. It's not going to be something that takes an awful lot of time and effort on their part, but it needs to be an effort that is assigned to students. Their effort is supervised, their effort is graded. It can't be something that, as it used to be in a student organization, it either happened or it didn't happen. I was kind of surprised when I looked through the program schedule for MT10 that I had submitted to you. There are some programs that have been on there, well, let's call them perpetual evergreens. I'd like to put them away somewhere and replace them with a lot of new ones. So that's the focus that we have now, and it'll be a lot easier with this server that we've invested in. The other one was time-consuming to be able to convert programs into the format that it could handle, and it was very bunglesome in terms of how you could program things, and you weren't able to do some of those functions that I mentioned in my report to you. It'll make it look much more professional, I think, than we have done in the past. And I think it's, I'm thankful to the department to make that investment, because that's money for MT10 that's not going to a class or some other activity that we're doing. So that shows how important this really is to the department.
Anyone else got questions from the commission? Since it's a public hearing, I guess I should also invite anyone that's in the gallery. Anyone got a question? Comment? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Channel 9, you're up.
Thank you. I really appreciate the commission giving me this opportunity to come and talk about Channel 9. Something I'm very proud of. We have gone through what I would call, you call in sports, a building year. We are switching from pivoting from basically teacher professional development and K-12 enrichment programming to a broader, more public, generalized, organized programming with an educational bent. And the reason for that is because at the start of COVID, we couldn't hold public group events like convocation or our commencement ceremonies or any of our other activities on campus. And so it was felt by the university to bring the TV station into the whole university as opposed to just the College of Education. So now the TV channel, as we told you last year, was moved to the Division of Marketing and Communication, and David Foster is my supervisor and Andrew Ottman is our vice president. So this is given me the opportunity to broaden the scope of programming that we have. And we're pulling programming from a lot of different areas now. We're also doing some athletic programs. So this is the first time in the history of Channel 9 that we've had athletic programming. And so we're re-airing classic Blue Raider football games on Thursday afternoon, or on Thursday evenings and on Saturday afternoon. So if you're at a game, you can watch the game from MTSU where we win. And also, we're partnering with the School of Journalism and have a very talented group that are bringing us high school football games. So all of the counties around us, we can now air some of the high school football games on the Monday afterwards. So if you couldn't go, it's going to be on it's going to be on True Blue TV Monday evening, so you can catch Siegel versus Blackman or any of the other 11 counties I think that we had. Or I'm sorry, we had 11 teams in 10 counties, and that turned out really well. We have also updated our equipment, and this is really why I called this a rebuilding year. It wasn't just the transitioning. Our equipment was really old, and we were fearing, going down all the time. So we decided to put in two new servers, and very nice ones. They're called Playbox Neos, and we have one that's just redundant. We have the bottom server is just going to be following the top server. So if it notices that we go off the air, then it's just going to switch. So hopefully nobody at home will ever notice anything. And it was also, just like Bob said, it's going to up our quality and up our signal and make it look a little prettier for everybody. And the graphics package is really neat. I'm just now breaking into it just a little bit, but the updated equipment has been a blast. And we started that at the second half of the year, and it should be over. We're closing in on the end of it. So it should be this month, should be finished, but it's already on the air and has been on the air for about 4 months. So we're totally super excited about that, and it represents what I feel like is a big commitment to serving the public of our viewing public in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, and hopefully further now. We are still on DTC, so we're fading into other counties. We're on Chapel Communications. We're on Roku, Apple TV. Murfreesboro is going everywhere. And we just joined, if you've heard of it yet, it's called Local TV, Local BTV. And it's a thing where if you're away from your cable box, you can call this up on your personal device and you can tune into Channel 9. So, they show, it's like if you're not at home, you can watch your favorite channels, local channels on the service, and then we're rolled into that. So that was a very exciting something that just happened this month. So if you go on Local BTV, it's Nashville BTV. You'll find True Blue TV in there too. So you can just watch us anytime, and you can always watch us on our website at True Blue TV, mtsu.edu/TrueBlueTV. Well, I'm just going to just kind of go over a couple of the quick things as far as like that is criteria one, signal quality. How we're trying to improve the station, how we're trying to give the best product. And two is, oh no, I got them backwards. I'm sorry. That's criteria two. Criteria one on serving the public. We are still working on improving our closed captioning for increase access to MTSU. This has been a big bailiwick of mine from day one, since I've been coming here for, 7 years now, 7 or 8 years. They've had some technology improvements, and even just we use Premiere Pro to edit shows, and they just put in a new captioning thing that's just phenomenal. So this is going to help my captioning unit, my students, use our specialized programming and complete captions, along with us looking at our licensors and saying, we need captions on your shows, and our captioning shows that come to us from other PEG stations that we share to get as much content as we captioned, and hopefully one day we can go into audio description, so that truly everybody can enjoy the channel. But my favorite thing, and I know you guys have noticed this in a long time, is sharing our MTSU, sharing Murfreesboro's programming. Oh, I'm sorry, the first thing I should have said is I want to thank Channel 3 City TV for making an MOU and signing it with us so we could air episodes of Murfreesboro Storyteller series with John Hood. So we're tickled to have that, with John's relationship with the university. They've always worked with us, especially if it was a university-based story. But we all like the show so much that we asked if we could borrow it sometimes. And with our mutual memorandum of understanding, then we get to do that. We're very grateful. Let's see. This is the part I really like, is how much we've done the shows, and this is related to the questions. How many hours of new, locally produced, non-repeat educational program on Channel 9 were provided to Murfreesboro cable subscribers during 2021? And we were able to produce 131 separate episodes, separate programs, for a total of 112 hours. Now, since the True Blue TV has brought on a unit called Event Productions, we have True Blue TV Event Productions. Instead of me and my GA going out and getting programming, we're having programming bought from them. And we're also focusing on the programming coming from within the university to get more university events out there, more wonderful distinguished lecture groups and interesting events on campus that we want to share with the general public. We're bringing that into focusing. So I'm kind of turning into more of a station where I receive the programming as opposed to the one who's going out and getting it. But the blossoming of that is, like I said, with Robert's group, it's we're getting submissions from his talented students. We're getting submissions from the different colleges. We're able to go do, whenever we have a really neat guest speaker on campus, we're being able to bring that to the public. And we share a lot of that with the other PEG stations. So on page 5, if you want to look at it, we had the convocation ceremony we were able to broadcast. We did the spring and fall commencement ceremonies. We both broadcast them and then we rebroadcast them. There were 10 separate ones of those because of COVID. We still do the concert hour with the wind ensemble, the MTSU Women's Chorale, and other groups on campus. Now we have some Blue Raider football. A neat little show is called Blue Raiders Extra Point that the students do that is about the game. It's every Saturday, and it's about today's game, but it also covers Conference USA. So it's a sports news program, a 30-minute program. It's really neat. We were able to do our homecoming parade live this time and rebroadcast. And of course, we do Out of the Blue every month and share it with everybody else. We are starting to produce some new programs. We have a series called Admission Answers that runs during the middle of the day so that people who are interested in joining MTSU will have a little more information about admissions, and we're doing that for them. We're producing a letter from the Birmingham jail, which is a documentary to honor the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King's amazing correspondence from the Birmingham jail. We are proud to air our award-winning documentary, Silent No More, that we produced for 2019, but, you know, just like everything else in COVID, got delayed, and it is the story of American suffrage, and it is in partnership with the MTSU American Democracy Project and the Center for Educational Media, which is our home for so many years. We produce Out of the Blue, like I said, and give that to other channels. And Out of the Blue has been shared through PEG Media and some other resources that we have. And we have on record right now 651 downloads by 57 different stations in 20 states of Out of the Blue. And so we're really proud of that. Now, what tickles me is this one, is that we have basically about 50 other productions that we have up on PEG Media. And to date, we have had 4,843 downloads. And this is by 330 stations in 42 states. So I'm kind of wondering where those other states are. I'm really working hard at getting those other states. Now, through another group, we have Teleview Connect. We have Portraits, First Black American Divas of Song and Opera, MT Conversations, Teacher Talk, The Great Tennessee Eclipse from 2017, which still has schools taking it. We had an additional 262 downloads by 83 community stations across 20 states, but I finally got Mississippi in there. So those are the things that I feel like gives us the best bang for our buck, that not only are we proud of the programming we're producing, we're also sharing it with everybody and getting Murfreesboro out there. On the other end is we relicense different programmings, and we licensed 47 different video programs for a total of I think it was 120 hours, and we're going to increase that to make sure that the cable viewing audience has things that aren't just MTSU, but continue to have things that are that continue to have programming like our creature features on Saturday night, where it's interesting, it's got an educational bent, but it's something more than MTSU. It's more broad programming for the general audience, and that was one of the reasons we were so happy to get Murfreesboro Storytellers. A couple of the programs we did this year, just to finish up, we partnered with Ryman Auditorium to produce a series of Friday night jams that feature MTSU songwriters, and they perform either in or out of the Ryman Auditorium. And we've got 5 or 6 right now, and we're going to have 12 more this coming year. And it's a great little show. It's about 2 hours long, and we're going to start programming those in the next 2 weeks. But those were produced all of 2021. I mentioned the Blue Raider Athletics. We worked with Grand Ole Opry Entertainment to broadcast special events. The biggest one was the highly successful Salute the Troops at Opry preview show live from the Opry House. And this was before the Opry's Salute the Troops, and they were honoring Charlie Daniels, and they were also, oh gosh, I'm blanking on him, Chris Young, who we now have a cafe, Chris Young Cafe on MTSU. So they did a tribute to Charlie, but also in that was Charlie's favorite charity, our veterans and our Hazel and Charlie Daniels Veterans and Families Center. And General Huber was there for the ceremony, Charlie's wife and his son. And before the show, we produced a full 2-hour broadcast where we interviewed everybody, and we announced our collaboration with the new Indy race in Nashville last year, and had an Indy car in the show and that was right before the race in Nashville. So that was a hugely fun and proud thing. We've partnered with the Free Speech Center, Ken Paulson's Free Speech Center, doing on Capitol Chaos, the riot at the Capitol and the ensuing historical context. We're partnering with the MTSU Political Economy Research Institute to bring economics and budgeting into more people's lives, financial information into more people's lives. And we partner with the Alumni Association to bring helpful ongoing series on relative life subjects for MTSU alumni and the general public. And the last thing I just want to say, the last question from a technical standpoint, since I have changed organizations, it's not set up exactly the same way, but I still have the channel monitored by like 6 different people in 6 different locations. And that with the redundant server and with our total info service, which would pop on when a show's not playing, we're still covered. It still comes back to me, but now I have some other people to help me with it. And as I say in the last paragraph, we can monitor at home. We've got new software where we can basically monitor all 3 channels that we're working on right now, and do them remotely. If something comes up, hopefully at some point I may have to run in there and push a button, but it's not going to be as travel intensive as it was. But we got it monitoring 24/7. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm hoping that was informative. Does anybody? I'm sorry, Chairman.
No, go for it.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do have one question.
Yes,
It's
sir.
brief. If there's an organization, the information that you're putting on Channel 9, is that y'all go out and search for prospective information, portfolios of information, or does a department or a group on campus submit a request to have something?
Is this, do you mean on like our community bulletins and
Yeah,
and things?
probably so.
Yes, sir. We have the Total Info Service is a automated headline and weather service. So it just kind of pops up, and we're not able to really put content into that. It's kind of a fail-safe, and it's overnight. Now, the community bulletins, Melba and I do those. And, yeah, we take submissions, but also Melba's going to look for the information. And we've kind of pivoted between COVID things, but also we're relying a little more on the information that's what's happening at the university. For instance, just getting the date for convocation up there where people can see it. But we still have a lot of connections with the community, and Mrs. Simmons is always looking for connections to the community and goes to Patterson Center and about 12 other places to kind of check with them and see what upcoming open to the public events they have that we could put up there. There's certain restrictions because of the PEG channel on what kind of organizations and what kind of events we can put up there, but that's just the separation of church and state. But we also take the submissions, and then we have a group of us, about 4 of us, that just go through it and make sure it's okay. The same as when we evaluate a TV series that somebody wants to put on that that just comes from an outside organization. But we do really watch it. I personally try to think through the ramifications. It's like, oh, this is a wonderful thing, but this is by a for-profit, so we can't do it unless they're doing it for a non-profit event. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Anyone else? Anybody from the gallery? This is your chance. Okay, thank you.
Thank you
very much. So we'll move on to item number 4. Consider continuing to grant a license to MTSU to utilize a second local educational access channel. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate all y'all are doing. I couldn't help but notice, I believe, Dennis, that this started around 1998, that agreement. So happy birthday, 24 years later. Okay, last item, well, no, it's not the last, excuse me. Item number 5, staff reports and comments. Alan?
I have a couple of items. In your packet, you've got, since we last met, 2 cable complaints that came in with Comcast. Those have been addressed by them. Also, let you know that United Communications obtained or amended their state franchise, cable TV franchise that they have to include parts of Murfreesboro now. So we have provided them with the city's channel, the MTSU channel information. So whenever they do start providing service, those channels will be on their lineup as well. The city will also receive the franchise fees off of that cable TV service that they start providing in Murfreesboro. So that's a good benefit for us. Also, in another aspect of that, AT&T Uverse, we've received notice that they're discontinuing their service over the next couple of years. So subscribers that currently have that will have to migrate once their contracts expire over to their new service, which is called Direct TV, which is either choosing a dish to put on your home or kind of a over-the-top set-top box, kind of like the Roku or something like that people subscribe to. So we will lose the franchise fees off of that part. The subscriber base for that is 1,500 subscribers, so it's not a whole lot of money they're generating or that the city would lose with respect to franchise fees on that. Also, the Comcast franchise agreement was approved by City Council, and it was signed by Comcast closer to the end of 2021, so that's now in full effect and is a 10-year franchise agreement. In your packet, I included the April City TV programming guide. Just a couple of highlights since we've last met. This past year, we covered for the first time the Christmas parade live ourselves. In the past, we've collaborated with MTSU. The students had already been on break by the time they had this one this year, so we were able to, with the equipment that we had, were able to cover that. Also coming up in September, a neat event we're going to be covering live too is the Miracle League's All-Star Games that they'll be having. It's a group that come from all over the nation to have this special weekend at Sportscom. So we're going to be televising those ball games that they're going to be having out there. So that's going to be a neat kind of something new that we haven't done before. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you all have on programming or anything.
Anybody? Thank you. It's a quiet group today. Item number 6 on the agenda. Any other business to come before the commission? Anyone? Not seeing any? Then I will adjourn this commission meeting. Thank you very much for coming.